Well, good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the Tuesday, October the 21st, 2025 session in our series on innovations in AI from Asia. And on the one hand, I'm really delighted that we have our speaker this week, but on the other hand, I'm sad that you can't be with us in person, Hal. The cookies taste a lot better in person than they do over Zoom. So after the session is over, everyone who's here in the auditorium, please stay and we have some light refreshments outside. Um, Before I introduce our speaker, I want to say thanks to all the member companies of the U.S. Asia Technology Management Center. It's their support that allows us to put this seminar series together. Also, I want to say a special thanks to Shane Gu, who is serving as co-host this quarter. Shane was the person who introduced me to Tao, our speaker today. Tao Zhang is co-founder and the chief product officer for a company based in Singapore called Manus AI. And Manus is really the world's first general AI agent that is putting together thought and action. So his topic today is going to be the frontiers of agentic AI. Um, before before coming to Manus, Tao was a product lead with Lightyear, Meituan, in China and also was the head of global product for ByteDance, the parent company to TikTok. And he has held previous posts with Sensors Data and Wando Labs and Tencent. Um, he's a graduate in engineering of communications engineering from the Chongqing University of Post and Telecommunications. And Al, I think the first thing for us to do is to let you give some comments, and then we'll get into sort of a fireside chat format. The floor is yours.
Okay. Yeah. Hi, everyone. Tao here, co-founder of Mass AI. And actually, like 4 weeks ago, I was at the Stanford campus, but, hosting another fire chat with the GSB. Yeah. But, unluckily, I can't be there today. Yeah. But, lucky to share our thoughts about the frontiers of agentic AI. So I'm gonna share my slides now. Yeah. Okay, yeah. So I think first we're gonna use maybe 15 or 20 minutes to go over these slides, and later we're gonna have some fireside questions. So today I think I'm gonna just share because we talked a lot about our journey, about how we come up with the idea of Manus in the past 7 months. I think that if you are interested in Manus, you can find many public speakings from me on YouTube anywhere talking about the journey. So I don't want to talk about the again today. And today I want to talk about something what we saw from the past 7 months and what's about the future. Yeah. And first of all, like Manus is kind of like the AI agent, and everyone's talking about agent this year because like we kind of like define this category, this general agent category, and after Manus, you will see there are like many agents coming. People are just saying, okay, this is something Manus for some vertical, Manus for some another vertical. Like right now, because everyone is talking about the AI agents, but I don't know, like if everyone talk agent to you, what does it mean to you? Because like for us, we think there's a big misconception because we saw some product. They just use the traditional chatbot way and just add some system prompt and they say, okay, this is our agent. But actually, from our perspective, we think this is not the right way or this is not the agent at all. Because, if you only use the chatbot and add some system prompt to make it work the way as a real person, maybe like a lawyer or like a doctor, we don't think that is an agent. It just passively executes your command and it just work like someone else. But it's still like triggered by your question. You have to ask a lot of following up questions to get the answer. this is not the agent. And what we think is a true agent, it's actually about its name, the agency. Yeah, a true agent must have the agency. And how do we define the agency? We think the agency means the agent has to have the ability to think and to plan. And the most important is to has to act autonomously, just by itself. It doesn't need waiting for commands, but instead it can proactively solving your problems without asking a lot of questions from you and waiting for your commands for what's the next step. The agent must have to act on its own, like think by its own, act on its own. This is the true agent. So like maybe I know there are many like technical definition behind it, but when you are using a product, if you have a feeling that you have to command the system, command the product along the way, all by you, definitely it's not an agent. Yeah. So another question is that what is a general agent? Because the product we built here is something we call a general agent. A general agent is not designed for very specific tasks because right now you will see there are many products they say like oh, I'm a marketing agent, I'm a sales agent, I'm a legal agent. Yeah, but at Manus, I think what we are trying to build is a general one. It's a system, it's with a lot of different capabilities, and we can solve very open-ended problems like back in July when we release we have a feature called wide research. It's not deep, it's wide, yeah. And we use some task to test it, which is like just help me to find which universities did the top 500 top 500 companies CEO's partner went. Yeah. So like this is a problem that it didn't have the answer in the whole internet. You can just use Google search to do that. Actually, you have to get creative and do like 500 independent researches on the top 500 companies CEO. And for each research, it's totally different because for some CEO maybe they have a partner, maybe they haven't, and sometimes maybe their partner's portfolio is on LinkedIn, but for others it's maybe in any other places. So it really leads you to not just work by a predefined workflow to solve that problem. It's open-ended problem and need to access to a lot of different type of tools. Yeah. So it's really like humans working, you are adaptable. Yeah, right. Actually, and you can learn along the way to solve the future problems. So that's kind of like a general agent do. It's like we can solve a very long tail of different type of tasks. Yeah. And after 7 months of exploring different opportunities and the boundaries of today's agentic AI, what we believe in the future, and this is the future we're trying to build, is the three frontiers of agentic AI. The first one is I was talking about the atomic capabilities, yeah, which is how to expand the agent system's boundaries, yeah, because actually we believe like just when you are using Google is kind of like we saw it search engine. It's like you have a query, you go there and you get some related documents, but you still have to read all the documents by yourself. And we believe that like ChatGPT and Perplexity, they're kind of like an answer engine, which is you have a question, you go there, you get the answer. It tells you how to do, but you still have to do all the things by yourself, right? But we believe like Manus, the general agent, we're kind of like an action engine. It's like you come here with your task and you left with the deliveries, with the final results. Yeah. So to help you to get the final results, get the delivery, we need to use a lot of different type of tools. So the more an agent can do, means the more the problems it can solve. So which means like right now we're still trying to expand like the capabilities of Manus can do, like in content creation. Yeah, we try to integrate like image generation, video generation, audio generation, and a different type of reports. And also, like we are trying to let the agent can do browser automation and operate on web. And also, we like last week we released the Manus 1.5 version, which enhance our website's building, which means like a normal person can build an AI app with natural language. It's very simple. And we just released maybe for 5 days, and we saw like many interesting use cases our users build with Manus. And also in the future, we are collaborating with Microsoft to make sure that the agent can operate some desktop software too, because not every software is on the web. Some of them can just be running on Windows, and we try to solve that too. So we are expanding the capabilities of Manus. So like in the past 6 months, these are all the new capabilities we try to build into Manus. And the second frontier, I believe, is the about the architecture, because like right now, maybe when you are using Manus, sometimes you will see the agent will running for 50 minutes to 60 to 30 minutes. And from what I can remember, right now the longest running task in Manus maybe 1 hour and a half. Yeah, 1.5 hours. Yeah, so that may be the longest task running. But in the future, we are betting for, which is we believe in the future, everyone will have an agent that's running 24 hours, 7 days a week, just for you, just for a single user. That's actually a not. Because like today, if you are trying ChatGPT, blah, 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 any other AI tools, you'll say if the task running for maybe like 5 minutes or 10 minutes, it will end and it will fail. So even we can do 1 hour running tasks, but we still think it is not enough because we believe in the future we need like some tasks can running for hours, maybe sometimes for days, and that really needs a very solid infrastructure for the whole aging architecture. And also, it's about how to decomposition of the complex tasks to make it they can do parallel subtasks. There's an example like the feature I just mentioned, wide research. Because when you are using deep research, what you get is usually maybe like a 20 pages long article. But like in our perspective, we think humans didn't need to read a 20 pages long article generated by AI every day. But like in our everyday life, like when we work, when we study, there are just some very simple tasks or like not that complex, not that deep research you need to do, but you need to do maybe hundreds or thousands of different targets, like the task I just mentioned, to do some researches on the top 500 company CEOs. Yeah, and if you try that kind of task on other AI tools, and you will see they will fail. But in Manus, if you give some tasks, this very complex task to Manus, Manus will just split the big task into many independent subtasks, and they will run concurrently. So it will be very reliable and it will be very fast. Yeah. So that's kind of like the wide research. And the third frontier we believe is the proactive one. Yeah, because when we're talking about the agency, in today's world, not like chatbot and agent, they still need you, to ask the question or assign the task. But in the future, we are trying to build. We believe the agent should like get things done even before you ask, and that's actually like the true definition of agency, right? Yeah, it's like have its own thinking and do things even before you ask. So to get that done, which means like back in August, we've already released some features like Manus connectors, which can connect Manus to your calendar, email, or like your Google Drive or task management system like Linear, Asana, things like that. And what we found out from the connectors is like even after people connect to their personal context there, they still like didn't know like what things I should do after I connect to this personal context. But it's very interesting that if we have a working prototype right now internally, and actually, like for me, I'm using it every day. So like every morning, Manus will just access my last 24 hours of email and try to figure out what I'm working on and what jobs and tasks is still being undone. And Manus will try to solve them because I've already like collect my Gmail, my calendar, and my Lotion. I just record everything on Lotion, so Lotion knows all my thoughts. So Manus will try to solve these tasks in my email inbox. And every morning when I woke up, I will say, okay, Manus already told me these four tasks I've already done for you. So maybe you can just authorize me to proceed. It's really like magic. And because like I just told you, in the future, we think everyone will have an agent running for you 24 hours. If the agent has to be triggered by your tasks, you still have to triggered by you. It can't be around 24 hours because we don't have time for an agent. It's like we have to keep talking to the agent. It's not possible. But if the agent is running proactivity by itself, which means it's really like you can have someone works for you 24 hours. Yeah. So I think these three frontiers is what we trying to build, and also is what the industry is busy on. Yeah. And next, I also want to talk a little about the impact on the reality. Yeah, because AI is kind of so hype, and there are some people, some skeptic people, maybe will say that okay, yeah, everyone's talking about AI, but I don't see the benefits. And I also get like so many questions from my friends who are not in this industry, and they're all industry leaders, and they try to adapt AI into their companies in the past 2 years because everyone they don't want to be left behind. But actually, a lot of them just failed. Yeah, I must say. And I remember there's a report from MIT or what. Yeah, it's just maybe like more than half of the companies try to adapt the AI, they failed and they don't find benefits. And I think it's it's because there's a very important mindset you have to change is from let the AI replace human to let the AI enhance human because this mindset is really matters because when you are trying to replace a human with AI, what you are focused is about like how to replace the people with the AI. But there are like many existing workflows. They are getting done by real humans. Maybe like there's an employee and there's five workflows he's working on. And if you want to replace him with AI, you have to get all the five existing workflows being done by AI. But I must say, like in today's technology, I must say it is impossible, to replace any existing workflows getting done by AI. So if you are thinking like this, you are thinking about the risk first. You are not seeing the benefits. You are thinking about okay, how can I reduce the risk if I replace people with AI? Then every day, when you are thinking about the AI adoption, you are always thinking about the risk. But for me, I give so many like suggestions to my friends that you should stop thinking about replace people with AI. You should think about like how to enhance it. Because when you start thinking about like this, your focus will be coming to the benefits. You are thinking about the opportunities. You are thinking about the benefits you will get. So it's really important that like how do you adapt to AI? The leaders must like shift their mindset first, and then they can get the benefits. So that's when we talk about the impact on reality, why a lot of people are still very skeptical about the AI agents. I think that's the most important. And of course, we are seeing some leaders and individuals, they've already changed their mindset and they just found so many benefits from the AI agent. Yeah. And we believe that actually, the agentic AI is just the new literacy of our era. Just like you can just imagine, maybe like decades ago, you have to learn to drive. It can, break the physical distance barriers. And like 20 years ago, if you want to get a good job, you have to learn to use a computer because if you can't use computer, it limits you to access enough information for your work. And I think for the next era, you definitely have to learn how to collaborate with AI. It's not like, okay, I'm going to be replaced by AI. I don't see that future. Yeah, but in the next era, I think definitely you should learn like how should I collaborate with AI? Because this is not about the physical distance or the information access. It's about how how can you leverage another intelligence with you? This is a new topic for all humanity, It's about bring another intelligence into our head and we are all newcomers in this area. Yeah, and definitely, what's interesting is that we are seeing many Manus users use very interesting use cases, and we think they are better user of Manus than us. Even we are the creator of Manus, but actually, I think many Manus users they know how to collaborate with agentic AI better than us. Yeah, it's very interesting. So at Manus, our mission is trying to extending human reach. Yeah, not just a replace human. Yeah, our mission is to extending like human reach, and because in the past 7 months, what we try to build is a general one. And people just come to this platform and they discovered these top use cases for us, but we are not planned. We didn't build Manus to be a deep research agent or to generate sites or like building AI app, building a website. This is not intentionally planned by us, but people just come to our platform and find out Manus can do these things. So right now, these three top use cases are just discovered by our users on our general agent platform. And yeah, this top three use cases generating a lot of revenue for us. We started charging users from April, and right now we are very close to the 100 million ARR. Yeah, just in 6 months. Yeah, so we can believe with more users and with like we are pushing the boundaries of agentic AI. I think next year there's gonna be like maybe 10 more use cases or maybe 100 more scenarios will be unlocked by us and also by our user community. Yeah. So I really like I know like today maybe we have like 100 more people. So we really like ask you all of you us to join us to building the future by not joining the company, but by using Manus. Yeah, because we're a general one, and you can find your own use cases. Maybe it's gonna go computer, but it's gonna go very popular. Yeah, so we just want to ask you to like come to Manus, and maybe we can define and build the future agentic AI together. Yeah, so that's my today's sharing. Yeah, hi. Coming back to you. Yeah.
Al, thank you very much. Those are great comments. I've got to ask some follow-up questions, then we'll open the floor to questions. I've got some questions coming in from Zoom too. So when you're talking about running an AI agent 24 hours a day, 7 days a week,
Yeah.
something's going to have to happen to the business model. And the cost of processing has got to just drop remarkably. How are we doing in terms of lowering the costs of agents?
Okay, yeah. So, like, when we first introduced Manus to the world back in this year's March 5th,
Yeah.
at that time, we just saw why we want to release it. Even we didn't have any very specific use cases for it, actually, at that time. Yeah. And because it's like every day when we are using it, we think the whole experience is kind of like magic. We just think this is a very cool product that we should introduce to the world. And at that time, we are also thinking this is not a product we can let massive users come in because Manus is our second product. We have we have a previous product called Monica .m. It's an AI product. It's a browser extension. But it works kind of like a chatbot. So when we comparing Manus to Monica, what we found out is that the agent product consumes 100 times more tokens, than the chatbot. So we think it's gonna be like very expensive. So we can't let everyone use it because it's too expensive. So in the first 1 or 2 months, we have a waitlist system, so we can like limit our burn. Yeah, because it burns a lot. Yeah, we went super viral back in March and April. And if we don't have a waitlist system, we just open our system, the whole company gonna be broke in a week. Yeah, yeah. So the cost is really a problem for us. So in the past 7 months, we're working really hard, like to re-architecture the whole agent system to bring the cost down. And luckily, like in back in March, our chief scientist Pete say he's very confident that at the end of this year, we're gonna bring the cost 10 times down. And at that, actually, I don't know how he will achieve that, but luckily, like today is the October. We still have like 2 months to go. But right now, we've already bring the cost 8 times down, comparing to March. And what like attribute to this result? There are different factors. I think maybe the first factor is before March we are nobody in the world, but right now like we can work directly with all the frontier model labs like Anthropic, Google DeepMind, and OpenAI, different model labs, and we can get very good discount because like our usage is very high, so we can get like better discount. That's one thing. And another main factor is because Peak is working really hard to re-architecture the whole system and to squeeze the context to make sure that each round will save more tokens than the previous one. Yeah, so I think the discount will contribute maybe like half of the savings, and the re-architecture contributes to another half. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. So I got to say, I'm starting to get some really interesting questions in from Zoom, and I'm just going to use them for follow-up. One of the questions is from Wenji, who says that they are, a current Manus user,
Yeah.
and want to know what's the most counterintuitive thing that you've discovered about what consumers want from an AI agent as opposed to what tech-savvy early adopters want.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I'm reading that question. Yeah. Okay.
Let's
Yeah.
stick with the first question. We'll get to the second question in a bit.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm talking about first question. Yeah, it's really interesting. Like, as you can see, my background, this is the Marina Bay in Singapore, and the whole team we moved to Singapore back in June. So at that time, like when our CEO read, he was looking for an apartment here, and his real estate agent finds out like he is the CEO of Manus. So like his agent, the real agent, the human agent, the real estate agent just use Manus to build a customized, personalized slides just for him. Because like she just showed Red 3 apartments that afternoon, and hours later, she sent a customized slides for Red with all the all the 3 apartments floor plan in that slide. And Manus just did some research about these 3 apartments and like about like what's near there, and their hospital, where is the supermarket, and what the best restaurants you can go. It's a customized 15 pages slides. She just built for it. And we were amazing because like she's long tech people, and she can do this. And this is the fourth month after that, and we have some like interviews like 1 month ago with her, and what we found out, she's using Manus to build a personalized slides for all her clients every day now, because it feels really like privileging, like because it makes her job and her customers experience much better. Because before that, she doesn't have the capability and the resources to do that. But right now, she can deliver very personalized experience for all her customers. Yeah, I think that's one very interesting case. Yeah.
So in that regard, and this was something that I read in the online newspaper Tech in Asia back in June, a journalist used Manus AI and compared it to GPT-4o and also the AI agents that were available from OpenAI to do some tasks. And it was
Yeah.
able to do a really complex research task about, the impact of market volatility on stock prices over a 20-year period from 1996. It was really quite impressive. But then asked the Manus to kind of plan a complicated vacation in the island of Bali and
Mhm.
ran into trouble because the agent, of course, is trying to scrape the internet to
Mhm.
get this information about what's going on, and kept running into CAPTCHA images that would not allow it to go past, these things that show, click on every pane that shows a bicycle or click on every pane that shows a bridge.
Yeah.
And the agents, none of the agents could get past that.
Yeah.
What's happening in that area? How are you able to really build the kind of,
Yeah.
architectural features and atomic features you're talking about?
Yeah, actually, like internally, we have an internal joke. We say the biggest block to agentic future is Cloudflare. Because, like, yeah, the cover will block like all the agent access to different websites. But that's just a joke. And actually, from our test, our agent capability, actually, it can solve the captcha. But this is not about something about technology. It's about, I think, legal issues, because we don't want the agent can bypass the capture. It's kind of like maybe there will be some legal issue. But we believe in the future, and not a very far future, like maybe next year, we can find some solutions with all these cloud service providers, just like Cloudflare. That because like all our agents are running on users' behalf, and it's good intention. It's not like just another bot, just
Yeah.
another web scraping bot. We are working, acting on users' behalf, and it's good intention. And the content provider, I think they also want to get these visits. So I think it's better that if we can work with the cloud infra providers, and also there are like other ways to do that, like in Manus. Actually, I think, this feature is not released. It's an internal feature, but whatever. I can just share some secrets today. Yeah, we're gonna release a feature next week, which can you can just use Manus to use your local browser, which means, like, I think you have already logged into some systems on your local browser, and for some specific tasks that it requires you to use your local credentials or log in to use some websites. We found out a way to like let the Manus to control your local browser to do all these things. Yeah, so that is also like another approach about how to try to solve that. Yeah. So
Okay.
yeah.
We can come back to that sort of thing in a little bit. I'd like to open the floor to questions from the audience. Go ahead. I saw your hand first.
Well, first of all, thank you very much. It's a fascinating talk. My question for you is, what's the geographic distribution of your user base right now? And what
Yeah.
are hopes going forward, your vision for the geographic makeup of your customer base?
Okay, good question. Yeah. So right now, like for our geographic distribution, it's like dispersed very widely across the whole world. Right now, it's like US is our biggest market. United States is the biggest, and Brazil is coming after US. It's very close to US, Brazil. Yeah. And after Brazil, I think it's UK and Japan, and then Germany, Saudi Arabia and France. Yeah, so that's kind of like the top seven countries. And in the future, we are seeing like in the Europe, there's other countries emerging. Yeah, and I think because Europe is kind of like different, like each country have its own culture and language, so they will not emerge at the same time. But what we are seeing is like we got viral in German first, and then I don't know how, but it just affects some country nearby, maybe like France, then UK, and now UK just surpassed the German user base. That's kind of thing. And also in the Middle East, it's also another very interesting story. It's like we got super viral in Egypt, and we kind of like being the number one app on App Store, even higher than anyone else. Yeah, higher than ChatGPT, higher than any other app. But it only get viral maybe for 1 or 2 months. But after that, we are seeing we are getting like more trendy in Saudi Arabia because they are all speaking the Arabic language. So I think that's maybe the reason behind that. So I think in the future, we are seeing like more and more opportunities in Europe and the Middle East, but still America, like both North America and South America, are still being the biggest market for us. I think in the future. Yeah.
So I've got a follow-up for you. With that kind of global reach, are you running into data localization requirement problems? Like in
Uh,
GDPR, you're really not supposed to take data outside the EU.
Yeah, I think right now it's like because we are still at the early stage, so we didn't encounter like these problems at this time. But we are preparing for that, like to work with the cloud infra, AWS and GCP, to prepare a solution for that. But like for the data problems, that's also like one reason why we relocate to Singapore is because like in Singapore, it has a policy called CBPR, which is cross-border privacy rules, which means if you set up a company in Singapore and you can meet like many regions data privacy requirements like GDPR, so if your company is set up in Singapore, you can meet these requirements. Yeah, so that's the biggest reason, why we set our headquarters here. Yeah.
Okay, that's great. I'm seeing all sorts of hands. Go ahead.
Yeah, you mentioned you're working with some LLM providers to get discounts. I'm curious what like the moat quote unquote is for Manus. And you also mentioned you have a chief scientist, so I assume you guys are doing some kind of research as well. I'd love to hear about that. And thank you for the talk.
Yeah. Actually, right now, we are using like Anthropic and Google DeepMind's model. And why we choose that way is because we think right now, the model training is so expensive. It's not for small startup like us. Yeah, yeah. Like, you know, on the first day when we release Manus, we only have like $10 million in our bank account. It's it's not big money, like you guys are living in Silicon Valley. You know how crazy, right now these startups in Silicon Valley are raising. So we don't have the choice at first, like we couldn't afford to train models. And another reason we don't train model is because we think now the frontier model labs they need so much resources and talents to do that, and it's very hard to catch up with them if you are doing all these pre-trainings from a startup perspective. So we think it's better that to work with the frontier labs that like we can always push the boundaries of their models. Maybe there's one secret you don't know, which is that even the model lab themselves, sometimes they don't know their model's boundaries. Yeah, so it's just like, back in March, after we released Manus, and I came to San Francisco and have a meeting with Anthropic's team, and their team are very curious about like which model are you using. I say we are only using the Cloud Sonnet 3.7. And they say, is this the only model you are using? I was, yes. At that time, we only use Cloud Sonnet 3.7. And they say, then how can you achieve at this level of agency? Because they can't do that. But, so this is very interesting because like in the past 2 years, everyone is just thinking about the model is the product. So they think maybe the model company is the best company to build the AI product. But what we prove is as a startup, you still have a chance to build the whole architecture above the model and to make the system working maybe better than the model itself. So that's kind of like one thing. But definitely, we don't believe these technology things are the mode for us because being a startup, the only mode you get is the speed. So internally, we only believe we need to keep work hard and work faster and to deliver things. Yeah, like internally, like the CEO of Anthropic, Dario says, like Manus is 6 months ahead of other aging companies. But for us, we think it's a comparison because we only think maybe we are only like 2 or 3 months ahead, and we want to keep that advantage by working really hard. Yeah, so that's our mode. Yeah, and you say like we have a chief scientist Pig, of course, yeah. But I think for Pig, most of his work is to try to design our architecture about the aging architecture. Yeah, because like he is not like any other researchers. Because like Pig founded 2 companies before, he was a CEO of his previous 2 companies. So he is a researcher with business and product in his mind. So he doesn't limit his own job only on model, but he's also like on engineering and on product too. Yeah. So right now we're not training any models, but definitely we are collaborating with some US top model labs for training their model. Yeah. We are providing like many evaluations and data sets for them. Yeah. So that's kind of the answer. Yeah.
So in that regard, you're competing against some really huge companies, right? That have billions of dollars they're into their models already. What Manus AI has raised 200 million, 275 million so far. I'm kind of behind the times.
Yeah, I think last round, the benchmark round, yeah. Last round we raised like 75 million, and the previous round we raised like 10 million. So I think together, I think it's a year maybe like 90 million. Yeah, but must
Okay.
less 100 million. Yeah.
Okay, so how are you going to compete with OpenAI and Anthropic and these people that can just throw so much money into their own development of agents?
Yeah. I think it's about like back in July, yeah, when ChatGPT released their ChatGPT agent product, Red and I, we were in San Francisco. And I must say, at that day, Red and I may be the happiest person on earth, because before that, all the investors, all they all ask the same question: is like, what if OpenAI like release something like Manus? And we can't answer that question because when people are asking this question, they've already have an answer in their mind because they say OpenAI is kind of like a superior company. So whatever they do, they will do much better than any other else. So we do a lot of explanation to our investors. It's like, oh, don't care, we have something, blah 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 blah, but they don't believe. But after July, when ChatGPT released their agent, and we do like so many side by side comparison with ChatGPT agent, we test different type of our jobs, and you'll say like maybe 99% of these tasks, Manus will outperform them, and the result is much better. You can try it today. It's still the same, which means like even like OpenAI, like maybe the top company in AI industry, when they come to this area, they are still at the same starting line. I'm not saying they can't beat us in the future. Definitely, there is this opportunity, right? But I just say like even as OpenAI, if we enter this vertical, they are still at the same starting line as us. So I think for us is like we try to find the right user segment. We try to find the right use cases. We listen to our users and we solve the problems our users have. That's the only thing, a startup can survive. Yeah.
And deliver great results.
Yeah.
One more from Zoom, because I think this one's important. I don't want to forget. From
Yeah.
Shobika, what are the key capabilities or organizational changes that enterprises need to put into place to successfully adopt AI agents at scale?
Okay. Yeah. I think, yeah, no, the answers can be very long, but today maybe I can just share one thing. It's also about the mindset. Yeah, because like in last era, when we move the enterprise from paperwork to digital workflows, we will need some roles like CIO, Chief Information Officer, something like that, right? Or CTO. But I must say, today, if you want to transform your whole organization into AI-ready organization, it must come in from the CEO. Yeah, because I'm seeing so many organizations failed at adapting AI, which is the CEO saying, okay, this is just another technology program. So CTO or CIO, you will lead the team for the transformation. And you will say it must fail because I think the AI revolution, real transformation is never about the technology. It's about like maybe redesign your business model or like reconstruct your whole existing workflows. And this is something CIO or CTO couldn't be done. So I think it must be coming from the CEO, and you have to think at the whole company's level about what it impacts into our industry, into my company, into my employees, and how can I redesign the whole business model and workflows based on that assumption. So I think it must be a CEO project. I think that's maybe the most important one. Yeah.
That also indicates who you have to convince, right, in doing sales.
Yeah.
The CEO, not the CIO. Go ahead.
Yeah.
So I had a question. So you mentioned that you have users in Latin America, like Brazil, the Middle East. How did you convince? I mean, and these are a kind of lesser focused markets as compared to the traditional America, China, etc. So how did you convince these users to try Manus, and what lessons can other people learn from, kind of evangelizing these products to still lesser known markets?
Okay, yeah, as a very small startup, actually, we invested like last thing, on the market side, before this month. Yeah, we trying to build a marketing team this month, but before that, I think everything is just very random and just by word of mouth. Like in Egypt, which I mentioned, there's just an influencer on Facebook. Yeah, it's not even on TikTok or on Twitter. He's on Facebook and writing an article about Manus, talking about okay how good the product is. And he's not a very big influencer. I remember on Facebook he maybe has like maybe 20,000 followers, and I don't know why, but that piece just went super viral in Egypt. Everyone's talking about that, and we just went super viral. And in Brazil, it's two YouTubers. Yeah, two YouTubers in Brazil. They made two videos about Manus. Yeah, actually, before they release video, we never know them, and we don't know they are making videos about us. But yeah, they just released two videos on YouTube, and it creates a huge trend. And after that, every week there will be like new videos for Manus coming on Brazilian YouTube, like every week. So we keep viral, keep viral for 3 or 4 months. So I think definitely there will be like so many tricks, you will learn if you try to build a startup, that you try to learn some growth hack techniques. You want to learn some like maybe marketing methods. But I must say, I think the biggest and maybe the most right way to growth is to deliver a very good product that people want. Then, you will find this magic moment that people just randomly talking about your product and you get viral in some random country. Yeah. So that's it.
So one of our earlier questions on Zoom was about how far along the growth of, agentic AI is. Karpathy had mentioned that production grade agents are about 10 years away due to gaps in multimodality tool use, continual learning, et cetera. Are we on that timeline, or are there near-term breakthroughs that will change the adoption, make it faster?
Yeah. I love Andrew Capacity because like when I first entered this area, I read a lot of articles and videos from AK, and I think that he's a true visionary. So I think he is looking into the big picture of the future. So definitely, I totally agree with him that if we want to have the real perfect working agent, maybe still need another 10 years. But for us, we are a startup. Like we're here to solve people's problems. So we can't just wait for another 10 years to deliver that solution. From our perspective, we think the agent is still capable, to solve like many problems at hand. But I just say it's not perfect, but it's working. So I think for certain use cases, certain industries, they will achieve that type of intelligence just at the end of this year or maybe next year. So I think it's totally because I think capacity is looking to the future. So we're at a different level, I must say. Yeah.
So this does kind of get us back into the whole question of, what the user needs to be able to do. If you're talking about people who are having that kind of viral influence, it really looks like an early adopter community still.
Yeah.
Who really know what they want to get out of AI agents and so forth. When you get to the mainstream kind of mass market, what are people going to need to be able to do better in order to interact with this new intelligence in their life?
Yeah, I think that's also the challenge now, for us.
Yeah.
It's like I think we've already have enough early adopters for the product. They know what they want and they just, try our product to solve their problems. But when you enter the majority market, which is right now, I think we're entering the early majority market.
Yeah.
It's very hard, to communicate with that. Yeah, because like when you are working with innovators and the early adopters, they are very familiar with technology. When you say, okay, this is a general agent you should try, they know what is an agent and what task I should assign to it. But when you enter the majority market, it's very hard. Nobody cares if you are an agent or anything else. They just want to solve their problems, right? So this is something
People
that
have a hard time formulating their problem.
yeah. So we just had some discussions yesterday. It's like, maybe like 20 years ago, if you're telling someone that you you should use SNS, yeah, it's a social network system to normal people. Like, do you want to use SNS? I think no one will okay, this is something I want to try for normal people. Yeah. But like for Facebook, yeah, Facebook is an SS. They don't tell everyone, okay, I'm an SS. Facebook just says, okay, you can find friends here. Yeah, you can make new friends here. You can see other people's photos here. These are all the like use cases and what people want. So I think for us, it's that when right now we are entering the early majority market. So we are trying to reframe our whole story and concept to normal people. Well, we'll like avoid like some technology terms, and we're trying to find some use cases that will, will touch the user's heart very easily. But I must say it's still in progress. We are not finding the right way to do that. Yeah, so still in trying. Yeah.
So Now, I want to ask about your personal journey. At
Yeah.
Meituan and at ByteDance, you were not particularly working on AI agents, were you?
Oh, yeah, yeah. I was leading another product called Lark. It's kind of like
Yeah.
Slack plus Google
Yeah.
Docs. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So, what was the biggest thing that you had to learn in order to get into this AI agent kind of world?
Oh, yeah, that's a very good question. Actually, I'm a newbie in AI. I started learning AI maybe, of course, I spent some time before, but just for casual, casual learning. Yeah, I always love to learn new stuff, but I think for serious learning AI, I started using AI after ChatGPT, just like everyone else.
Yeah.
We're all starting to learn AI after ChatGPT, but after using ChatGPT, I think this is maybe the biggest opportunity in my whole career that I can't let myself, just stay outside of it, just watch it. So the first thing I do is that I just contact some of my friends, asking them like, okay, I heard you gonna start a new startup that just the co-founder of Meituan, Wang Huiwen, he started maybe the first LLM company after ChatGPT in China. And I asked him like, do you need a product partner? I can join you. Yeah. So I think the first way is to just jump in. You have to join the train. You have to stay inside of it. And another important thing is that uh, I'm a person that I don't want to learn from others. I don't want to like just watch some videos or read some articles. I want to learn the concept. I want to learn the theory. So actually, even I'm not from a CS major, I don't read papers maybe for 15 years after I graduate. But after joining this trend, I read a lot of papers actually, and at first, the first 3 months it's so painful because there are so many formulation, and so many math there, and I totally forget them. Yeah, because I graduated already 15 years, so it's very painful at the start. But I must say, like if you really put in efforts and time into that, after 2 or 3 months, even I'm not from a CS major, but I can understand. I'm starting to understand some of them. So actually, I read a lot of papers. I talk to a lot of researchers in China and in US. Try to learn from them and what is happening. Yeah, and another way to learn things is that after you learn something, you try to share it. Yeah, like before building Manus, because at that time I was not that busy. Like maybe every 2 or 3 months, I will have a sharing session about the things I learned. And actually, before Manus, I made two very influential and viral videos in China. One is talking about how should a product manager learn AI, the best way for a product manager to learn AI. And another video is maybe the most viral video in China to explain the fundamental series of DeepSeek model to normal people, because I can't explain it to researchers, yeah, but I'm trying to expand the whole concept to normal people, yeah, and it went super viral. And I think this may be the best way to learn things is that after you learn something, you share it to others. If you can make them understand, which means you are already like already good at it, yeah.
Yeah, so that actually leads into another question that came in on Zoom. As Chief Product Officer, what are your biggest challenges in designing AI agents that can reliably turn user intent into autonomous actions?
Yeah, to design AI product is really a big challenge for me because
Yeah.
like, before this, our workflow is more like we have some ideas or maybe we have some feature requests, and then we maybe like have some brainstorm meetings and we write some PRD, the product requirement documents, and we just design some prototype on Figma. And then we go to the designers and ask them to bring that prototype into as a final design. and then we talk to our design, our engineers, front end, back end, and we put it online. We test it and we put it online. So this is the workflow. But in today's AI world, the whole workflow just changes because AI is so unpredictable. So before you really get it running, you don't know what the outcome would be. So it's really not like the previous era because everything is fixed. Everything can be predicted. After I write this PRD, I told my engineers this is the workflow. I will be very certain about the results it will coming out. But in today's AI world, it's totally different. So right now we are changing the whole process of design the product. We are working backwards, which is, the product manager has to write the prompt and design the working demo by themselves. Because, right now with the power of AI, actually we can do that. And along that way, we are testing the prompt. We are using like Codex or Cursor to write some working demo by ourselves. And we make sure the outcome is what I want through the LLM. And then we will bring this working demo to our engineers, talking about, okay, this is something I want to achieve, and I've already have a working demo, and this is a prompt. How can we put it into mass production? And then after the talk with engineers, the final step is to go to designers, talking about what the interface should look like. So it's really different. It's like a working backwards, and
Working backward.
that may be the biggest challenge. Yeah.
Okay. Open the floor to audience. Because I have another one here, and that has to do with, as the agents become, they're doing their own observation, they're doing their own planning, they're doing their own kind of, problem solving. The level of transparency goes down. It becomes
Yeah.
more opaque.
Yeah.
And at the same time, really, there's something kind of like a human being to an agent where you don't really know how it comes up with the answer that it comes up with.
Yeah.
And that means that it requires a relationship of trust.
Yeah.
So how do you build in trust?
Yeah. Actually, there's a very important feature we build at the very start is the transparency. And we build the transparency as a feature. A lot of teams think transparency may be just for compliance or things like that, but we build transparency as a feature. And if you're using Manus, you will see we will expose very detailed information about what the agent is working on. And you will see like in each step, what the AI is thinking, what the AI is doing, what is the next step. We even have a remote desktop to showing you on the cloud virtual machine what the AI is saying and what is operating on its browser, in its terminal, in its file editor. And why we choose to do that? Because we think AI agent is so new, to normal users. They don't know what is an AI agent. So we think we should build transparency as a feature to let people get familiar with AI agent. Okay, now I know how it's working and what is working on. But we don't think this is the ultimate form of AI agents because right now I think AI agents is still very new. So in the first 2 years we will keep this design. But definitely I think after maybe like 2 or 3 years, people are already familiar with AI agent and they know how this thing works. And at that time, maybe we will hide some details. But now in this stage, we think it's very important to bring the transparency to the product. So if you are using Manus, you will see in each step we will expose everything. So you will know what AI is looking at, what information he is accessing, and you can just jump in to intervene anytime. Yeah.
Okay. So where do you see the boundary between agentic AI and artificial general intelligence, AGI?
Okay. Yeah.
Who's
You know,
gonna-
like Yeah, like for me, I think AGI is a word without clear definition. Because like if we bring somebody 3 years ago to today, and we make them to say the Manus, the GPT-5, or the VO3, or the Sora, he will say, "Oh, this is the AGI." But like us humans, we are a very adaptive animal, right? It's like we just get used to everything. Yeah, it's like maybe today it's like, oh, it's a revolution, but after 1 month we will think, oh, this is something I used when I was growing up. Yeah, so people are just get really adaptive to new technology. So I think whenever we reach the last definition of AGI, we will have a new definition for the AGI. So actually, for me, I think LLMs already achieved AGI last year, not this year, last year. I think the LLMs is already smarter than all of us. Yeah. So I think it's just a problem of definition. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. And maybe AGI will always be tomorrow's technology then.
I think, oh, which is a good thing.
Yeah. No, I really like your vision of, using AI to enhance people instead of replace people.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, there's going to be a lot of people who lose their jobs as a result of this, right?
Uh, I think some of them may, yeah. Just like, when we invented cars, the one who drives wagon, they may lose a job, but definitely there will be some new jobs created. Yeah.
Yeah. So new jobs will be created. Do you think we can reskill people to the point that most people can have a job in the future?
Oh, actually, yes. Because when people are talking about the new technology revolution, most of them will think that the one who know technology will benefit more than others. But actually, I have a different opinion. Yeah, it's because I think sometimes we will say Manus may be the first personal cloud computing product. Like when you are using our feature wide research, you can just summon 1,000 virtual machine in the same time works for you. And in the past, only engineers who know how to work with AWS can do that. But right now, a normal person can just summon 1,000 virtual machine cloud resources to help you get things done. And a normal person can build an AI app with natural language. So actually, we think the newest technology just removes the barriers of coding and release the true potential of AI coding to everyone, And I think actually normal people will benefit more than technology people. So I think in the future, it's like after people are getting familiar with AI technology, there will be new creations, new creativities, coming from human. I'm really a humanity fan, I deeply believe in humanity, the creativity. Yeah.
That's a great message. Go ahead.
Hi, I'm an undergrad here, a freshman undergrad, and I've been interested in going into like product management. Since like the culture here is super startup oriented, I was wondering, how similar do you think going into PM is compared to like founding a startup? And if you don't think that founding is the best way to get into PM, what do you think?
Yeah. So, because I don't hear your question very clearly, it's like whether to go to a startup or join a big company, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay. I think it really depends on what do you see from yourself because like doing startup is totally another life experience. But I'm not saying it's better, but it's just like another choice. Like for me, like in my whole career, I was in this industry for 15 years, and I only spent 2 years in big companies, and another 30 years is all about startups. So I'm really kind of a startup guy because like for me, I'm a person without boundaries. Like even now, I'm a chief product officer, but I also do a lot of like coding, marketing, partnership, a lot of different things. So I like work like this, but I must say, not everyone, is like comfortable with that. Like someone just like, okay, I want to do very professional work. I just want to get my part done and I'll get it very perfect and I respect that, which is a good thing. So I think it's really depends on yourself. It's about like what future you want to live with, what you think about your life. Yeah. So it's not about, like which one is better. Yeah.
In other words, it's what you want, not what's going to be independently something, there's another standard for better.
Yeah.
Okay. Other question. Go ahead.
Hi, thank you so much. I want to ask, next to sort of data localization questions, what are other key regulatory concerns for Manus to make sure that you have sort of interoperable data infrastructure
The key regulatory what?
concerns?
Concerns for Manus to be able to deliver what you're delivering. Utilization was one that we mentioned.
Sorry, I may not get the question. It's like
Yeah, it's kind of hard to hear in the auditorium, I know. And so
yeah.
basically, my understanding of the question was, in addition to data localization problems, what are the
Yeah.
big regulatory concerns that Manus has in
Oh,
continuing to grow?
uh, I think it's mostly for the uh, data privacy. We don't, but because right now we are not encountering any regulatory problems right now. But because we think the agent industry is evolving so fast, and what we say in the past, is whenever an industry is getting bigger, there will always be regulation. So we keep our eyes on that. But right now we don't see any. Yeah. But definitely, I think in the future there will be some regulation about like how can you make sure you are acting on users' behalf. Maybe there will be some regulation about how to leave the trace, how to leave the evidence. But I think it's not happening now. But I think it will in the future. Yeah.
Yeah, we had a question a little bit earlier that's sort of, how do you see the evolution of the LLMs in the future? Is it going to be more swarms of small language models, or just a few gigantic models will be sufficient?
Yeah, I think like for general side, like talking about the consumer board, I think definitely there will be just some gigantic model labs there, but there will not just be one because like 2 years ago, people are very sad about the future because like it looks like only OpenAI can do that. But right now it seems that we will have a lot of different good models from OpenAI, Anthropic, XAI, DeepMind, and like maybe there are some open sourcing model like DeepSeek, like Queen, right? So we believe in the future, there will be maybe 10, mainstream model providers you can choose. Yeah. So that's kind of the future we are looking to. But definitely in some specific use case and industries, they need some small size model. Yeah, like right now, when you are looking at the Queen model family, they have 1.5B, 3B, 7B size models, which can be used in some specific scenarios, but we think it will not be like in general use cases. Yeah.
Okay. Other questions from the floor? Go ahead.
So this morning, OpenAI released, or I guess it's night for you over there. They released Atlas, and a few weeks ago, Perplexity released Comet. So I was wondering, is the local browser that you were talking about earlier, Manus's response to those new developments like Atlas, Comet, and Gemini integration into Chrome? Or do you see Manus pivoting to a completely new, like 24/7 interface that we haven't conceived of yet?
Yeah, actually, like if you are interested, you can try Modica.im because our previous product is a Chrome browser extension that just lives in your browser and help you use AI inside your web page. You don't have to leave your current web page and you can leverage the power of AI. And we tried that. We think, okay, it works because Modica.im is still running and it has 20 million users. It's generating 50 million AR right now. So I think it's a product that user want, but I'm still not very certain that if users really need a new browser, to do all these things, like that. So I'm still skeptical about the future. And if you know our journey, before making Manus, we spent another 7 months on making AI browser from last February to last October. And even we have a release-ready product at that time, it's just something like Dia, Dia Comet. But we never release it because we say the AI browser thing may not, went very well. Yeah.
Well, I kind of have one more question and then we'll call it into the classroom part of this. We'll go out and have some refreshments. Last question is, why do you think Manus has been so successful? Is there really one thing or a combination of things?
Okay. I think, a product can be successful for many reasons, but I think for us, it's just we just deliver the right product at the right moment. Yeah, because like last year, actually, I don't know what happened in US, but what happened in China last year is like everyone is very sad about the future because just everyone think the AI is already hyping for 2 years, but we don't see any new things, other than ChatGPT. Yeah. But this year, like everyone is about, okay, 2025, this must be the year that there will be some new AI application coming to the world. And we just released this thing at the start of this year, and everyone is hoping for something new. And everyone is hoping that something will like work not just like another chatbot. Because like last year, there are a lot of AI startups, they are just building chatbot for someone, chatbot for some industries. So it's just all chatbots. So maybe we are the first one to jump out, to tell the world, okay, this is maybe the new paradigm of building AI products. So the right product at the right moment. Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds good. And that's a good message for us to end the session on. Please stay and let's get to know each other and over some refreshments. Al, thank you so much for a really informative and interesting discussion this afternoon. Thanks.
Yeah, it's an honor. Yeah. See you. Bye.